Welcome back, coin collectors. Today, we have something truly special to discuss. You've probably seen a lot of Washington quarters over the years, but there's one specific coin from 1965 that stands out for its extraordinary value: the 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark. Believe it or not, this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth up to a staggering $1.9 million. But how is that possible? In this video, we'll dive into the history, the rarity, and everything you need to know about this elusive coin and why it has such an incredible price tag. Before we get into the heart of the matter, let's take a quick look at the history of the Washington quarter. First introduced in 1932 to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington, the design of the quarter has remained largely unchanged. The reverse features an eagle, while the obverse showcases Washington's profile. However, the 1965 coin, especially the version without a mint mark, is a real anomaly. In 1965, the U.S. Mint underwent some significant changes. One of the most notable was the removal of the mint mark on most coins. This happened as part of a move to standardize coin production and to address a coin shortage caused by the rising demand for silver. For this reason, 1,965 quarters, as well as dimes, did not have a mint mark to indicate where they were produced. Normally, U.S. coins include a mint mark to show whether they were produced at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco Mint. But in 1965, because of the coin shortage and the Mint's decision to eliminate mint marks, it became harder to tell where a coin was made. During the production of 1965 quarters, some coins were accidentally struck with no mint mark at all. While it may sound odd, this error resulted in one of the rarest finds in coin collecting history. These 1965 no mint mark quarters are extremely rare, and as you might expect, that rarity is exactly what drives their value to astronomical heights. Now, let's talk about the value of these coins. When you think of a typical 1965 quarter, it's worth just 25 cents, the face value. But the era versions, especially those in excellent condition, can be worth much more. We're talking about millions of dollars. In fact, one specific example of the 1965 no mint mark quarter was sold at an auction for a mind-blowing $1.9 million. This coin had been preserved in mint condition and was a prime example of the rarity and value these era coins can command. The value of the 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter depends largely on its condition. Coins that are graded higher by professional numismatists, like those in pristine, uncirculated condition, are worth far more than those that are worn or damaged. If you happen to find one of these quarters in your collection or in a coin jar, it could be a game changer. But how can you tell if you have a genuine 1965 no mint mark quarter? Let's break it down. Look for the absence of the mint mark. As we mentioned earlier, the 1965 quarter usually lacks a mint mark. It should be visible just below the Liberty inscription on the obverse. Check the condition. The value skyrockets when the coin is in excellent condition. Coins with little to no wear, especially those with sharp, crisp details, will command top dollar. Get a professional grade. Coins are graded by organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. The higher the grade, the higher the value. If you think you've got one of these era coins, the next step is to get it professionally graded. A coin that's graded MS65 or higher could be worth a small fortune, with some graded higher than that reaching prices upwards of $1.9 million. If you're lucky enough to own a 1965 no mint mark quarter, the next step would be finding the right auction house or dealer to help you sell it. Major auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers regularly feature rare coin sales where these high-value coins can be sold to the highest bidder. It's important to note that while finding such a coin is incredibly rare, it's not impossible. Coin collectors all over the world are constantly on the lookout for these types of mistakes in circulation or among private collections. But it's not just the 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter that fascinates collectors. Coins with errors, whether they're struck off-center, with missing elements, or with other anomalies, often carry significant value in the numismatic world. They're a reminder of the human aspect of coin production and the fascinating stories behind each coin's creation. To sum it all up, the 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter is a true treasure in the world of coin collecting. Its rarity, historical significance, and the error in production make it one of the most sought-after coins of its era. While not every 1965 quarter is worth millions, the error version can certainly fetch a substantial price at auction. If you ever come across one of these quarters, make sure to get it checked by a professional and consider having it graded to see just how valuable it really is. Who knows, you could be sitting on a coin worth over $1 million. 1979 D Washington quarter, a seemingly ordinary coin with a value that has skyrocketed to an astonishing $1.6 million. That's right. You heard it. If you've got one of these coins sitting in your collection or even in your change jar, you could be holding a small fortune. Stick around, because in this video, we're going to dive deep into the details of this rare gem, its history, and how you could strike it rich with one. Let's get started. Before we talk about the 1979 D Washington quarter, let's rewind a bit and understand the legacy behind the Washington quarter itself. First minted in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday, the quarter has been in circulation for decades, becoming one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. The design you're familiar with, featuring George Washington's profile on the obverse, was created by artist John Flanagan. Over the years, the design has remained largely unchanged, with minor adjustments made in 1932 and again in the 1970s. But it was in 1979 when an intriguing minting error took place, leading to the coin we're discussing today, the 1979 D Washington quarter. Now, what makes the 1979 D Washington quarter so special? The answer lies in a rare minting error that occurred at the Denver Mint. In 1979, the U.S. Mint had been cranking out quarters in large quantities, but something went wrong during the production process. A small batch of Washington quarters were struck with a unique mistake. Their design included an unusual doubling effect, particularly on the mint mark D. As you can see here, the mint mark on these coins isn't just a single D, it's been doubled. This doubling happened because of an issue with the die, which led to two distinct impressions of the mint mark being struck onto the coin. This is what we call a double die error. Coins with double die errors are incredibly sought after by collectors, especially when they come from such a notable coin like the Washington quarter. It wasn't just any regular mistake. This doubled mint mark makes the 1979 D Washington quarter incredibly rare and highly valuable. So, how much is the 1979 D Washington quarter worth? Well, this coin has been known to fetch up to an eye-popping $1.6 million at auctions. You might be thinking, what? A quarter from 1979 worth $1 million? Yes, it's true, here's why. Rare coins like the 1979 D doubled mint mark are extremely valuable because they're almost impossible to find. In fact, only a few of these coins exist with the error intact, and they're in high demand among serious collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for them. Experts have speculated that there may only be a handful of these rare coins still in circulation. Because of their scarcity and the unique nature of the error, the value of these quarters has skyrocketed over the years, and auction prices have reflected that demand. Now, how do you identify a 1979 D Washington quarter with the valuable doubled mint mark? Here are a few tips to help you spot one. First, look at the mint mark on the reverse of the coin. A normal mint mark would just be a single D, but with the double die error, you'll see the D doubled. You'll notice that the second impression is slightly off, giving the mint mark a blurry, shadowed effect. Next, check for any other signs of doubling. It's not just the mint mark that may show signs of error. Sometimes the details in the design itself, like the lettering or the eagle, can exhibit doubling as well. But why is this error worth so much? The answer lies in the rarity and the demand for error coins in general. The fewer there are, the more valuable they become. When you add the fact that the 1979 D quarter is an error from a mint known for making relatively few mistakes, it becomes a holy grail for coin collectors. Moreover, coins like these don't just have value because of the error, they also come with a rich history. The 1979 D. Washington quarter is a reminder of a time when the U.S. Mint was pushing out huge numbers of coins, and a simple mistake led to one of the most valuable errors in modern U.S. coinage. So, if you find one of these rare 1979 D quarters, what should you do? First, make sure it's authentic. Get it graded by a reputable grading service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. Once it's graded, you can consider selling it at a coin auction or through a private sale. But be prepared for some serious competition. There are collectors out there who will pay top dollar for this rare piece of history. And that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the 1979 D. Washington quarter. Who knew that a small minting error could lead to such a massive value, right? If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more coin stories, tips, and news. Who knows, maybe your next treasure hunt will turn up a $1.6 million coin. 1989 P. Washington quarter dollar coin. You might think it's just another modern coin, but believe it or not, this coin can be worth up to $1.7 million. Stick around as we explore the history, rarity, and factors that contribute to its incredible worth. Let's get started. First things first, let's go over the basics. The 1989 P. Washington quarter dollar was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which is where the P mint mark comes from. The coin features a profile of George Washington, the first president of the United States, on the obverse, or front, while the reverse shows a striking eagle in flight, symbolizing American strength and freedom. While this coin might look pretty standard at first glance, it's important to remember that the 1989 P. Washington quarter was part of a larger series that was produced for circulation. These quarters were made from copper-nickel clad, with a weight of 5.67 grams and a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. But here's the kicker. While the coin itself isn't rare in terms of mintage, some specific variations and errors make this coin incredibly valuable today. So, what makes the 1989 P. Washington quarter so special? It's actually all about an extremely rare error. Normally, you would think that a 1989 P coin wouldn't be worth more than its face value, about 25 cents. But here's where the magic happens. Some of these coins were mistakenly struck with an overpolished die, a flaw that drastically changes the way the coin looks. This overpolishing results in a phenomenon called weak strikes where the coin's details, such as the eagle's wings and George Washington's features, become faint or faded. When collectors and numismatists come across these weakly struck coins, they realize they're dealing with something rare. Only a few of these coins were ever made this way, which is why they are in such high demand on the market. But that's not the only reason the 1989 P quarter can fetch a mind-blowing value. Now, let's talk about the big number, $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right. That's the potential value of a 1989 P. Washington quarter under the right conditions. In 2005, one such coin, a perfect example of the overpolished die error, was sold at auction for a staggering $1.7 million. This coin made headlines because of its rarity and pristine condition. The auction house was able to find a buyer who was willing to pay top dollar for this once-in-a-lifetime find. So, what exactly makes a coin like this worth so much? It all boils down to the rarity, the condition, and the demand from collectors. The value of the 1989 P. Washington quarter, especially one that has the rare overpolished die error, is largely determined by a few factors. Let's break them down. As we mentioned, only a few 1989 P quarters feature this unique error. Due to the overpolished die, there are fewer coins in circulation with this specific flaw, which means fewer collectors can find them. Coin condition is paramount in determining value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 1989 P quarter in near-perfect condition, graded MS67 or higher, will sell for much more than one that shows wear and tear. Collectors and investors are always on the lookout for rare, valuable coins. As interest in error coins grows, the demand for coins like the 1989p Washington quarter has skyrocketed. So, if you happen to have a 1989p Washington quarter in your collection, make sure you get it evaluated by a professional coin grader to determine its potential worth. Okay, so let's talk about how you can spot a 1989p Washington quarter with this rare error. First, look closely at the details of George Washington's portrait and the eagle on the reverse side. On a regular, well-struck coin, the details should be sharp and defined. However, on an overpolished die coin, you'll notice that parts of the design are either blurred or faint, especially on the eagle's wings and Washington's hair. If you come across a coin that looks like this, it might be worth getting it checked by a professional. So there you have it, the 1989p Washington quarter-dollar coin, with its rare overpolished die error, is a true gem in the world of numismatics. While most 1989p quarters are worth just a few dollars or even face value, if you get lucky enough to find the error coin in excellent condition, you could be holding on to something worth millions. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins and their unbelievable values, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And if you have a 1989p Washington quarter in your collection, take a closer look. You never know what hidden treasure might be waiting for you. 1996p Washington quarter-dollar coin, and why it's catching the eye of collectors and investors all over the world. So, grab your magnifying glasses, because this one is a true treasure. First, let's set the stage. The Washington quarter-dollar was first minted in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. Fast forward to 1996, and we see the familiar design of Washington's profile on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. While most of these coins are very common and worth only face value, there's a special anomaly from the 1996p batch that could make you a millionaire. Now, here's where things get interesting. In 1996, the U.S. Mint produced millions of quarters at both the Philadelphia and Denver Mint. However, something unusual happened with a small batch of 1996p quarters. Due to a mistake during the minting process, some of these coins were struck with a rare, almost unnoticeable error. This error is so rare that only a handful of them have been found, and these coins are selling for a fortune. Let's talk about the error that makes the 1996p Washington quarter-dollar so valuable. The mistake occurred when the mint used a worn die, which led to a weak strike on a small number of coins. This is known as the weakly struck error. These quarters feature noticeable fading on the lettering and Washington's image, making them stand out from the typical strong strikes that most 1996p quarters have. While this may sound like a subtle mistake, it's this very flaw that gives the coin its massive value. So, why is this weakly struck 1996p quarter so valuable? The answer lies in the rarity and demand. Of course, a quarter with a flaw may seem like it would be worth less, but in the world of numismatics, these types of errors can make a coin extremely desirable to collectors. A 1996p quarter in excellent condition could fetch a few bucks, but a rare weakly struck version, it can sell for upwards of $1.6 million. Now you may be wondering, how can I identify a 1996p Washington quarter-dollar with this error? Well, here's what to look for. The most obvious sign is a lack of detail on the lettering and design. If you look at the Liberty and In God We Trust inscriptions, they'll appear faint, or in some cases, completely absent. The most critical area to check is Washington's face and the eagle on the reverse. The details here will be softer than usual. And while the weak strike is often subtle, a careful inspection with a magnifying glass or loupe will reveal the flaw. Let's take a look at some real-life sales. In recent years, rare examples of the 1996p Washington quarter have sold at auctions for astronomical prices. In 2019, one coin with the weak strike error fetched a jaw-dropping $1.6 million at an auction. This makes it one of the most valuable modern U.S. coins ever discovered. But not every 1996p quarter will be worth that much. The condition and severity of the error play a huge role in determining the value. Coins in near-mint condition with this error can be worth anywhere from a few thousand to a few $1 million. So, if you think you've found one of these rare 1996p quarters, what's next? First, you'll want to get it professionally graded. Organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can authenticate and grade your coin. Once graded, you can sell it through reputable coin dealers, at auctions, or even privately to high-end collectors. To wrap things up, the 1996p Washington quarter dollar with the weakly struck error is a true gem for collectors. Its rarity and the story behind it make it one of the most exciting coins to look for today. If you think you've found one, don't hesitate to get it checked out. You could be sitting on a $1.6 million treasure. 2000p Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin. Stick around because we're about to explore everything that makes this coin so valuable, rare, and sought after by collectors. You won't want to miss it. Now, before we dive into the specifics, let's talk about what makes a coin valuable in the first place. It's a combination of things: rarity, condition, demand, and sometimes, just a little bit of luck. But when a coin like the 2000p Mint Mark Washington quarter surfaces, with a unique error that sets it apart from millions of others, it's easy to see why this coin has become a millionaire's dream. The 2000 Washington quarter is part of the series that started in 1932, featuring the iconic profile of George Washington on the obverse, with the eagle on the reverse. This design, created by John Flanagan, has been a staple of American currency for nearly a century. But what makes the 2000p Washington quarter different from the rest? Well, this is where things get interesting. The 2000p Mint Mark Washington quarter was minted in Philadelphia. Typically, quarters from this year are worth only their face value, 25 cents. But there's a rare, accidental error that makes this particular coin extremely valuable. We're talking about the 2000p Washington quarter with the double die error. Take a close look at the obverse of the coin, where George Washington's features should be clearly defined. On this particular quarter, there's an unusual doubling of the design. This means that the die used to strike the coin malfunctioned, and instead of producing a single image of Washington's profile, it struck a doubled image, creating a noticeable blurry effect on the features. This is known as a double die error. Now, to give you a sense of how rare this error is, only a handful of these 2000p double die Washington quarters were released into circulation. We're talking about one in several million coins. The combination of the coin's minting error, rarity, and condition has led some of these coins to fetch astronomical amounts at auction. In fact, a 2000p Washington quarter with the double die error was recently auctioned off for a staggering $1.8 million. That's right, a quarter worth 25 cents in circulation could be worth millions. But how did this coin make it to such a high price? Let's break it down. The 2000p Mint Mark Washington quarter with this error is incredibly rare, but it's also in mint condition. The coin that sold for $1.8 million was graded MS67, which means it was virtually flawless. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. A coin in near-perfect condition is in high demand among collectors, and this was the perfect storm of rarity and condition. Now you might be wondering, how can you spot a 2000p double die Washington quarter if you come across one? Well, it's all about the details. Here's what you need to look for. First, check the date. This error can be found on the 2000p Mint Mark quarters only. Look at the digits of the 2000 year. If you see that the digits are slightly doubled, that's your first sign. Next, examine George Washington's hair and the word Liberty. The doubled features will appear blurry, almost as if the design was stamped twice. Lastly, look at the "In God We Trust" inscription, where you might see some noticeable doubling. Now, let's talk about how to check your collection for potential value. If you're lucky enough to find a 2000p Washington quarter in your change or collection, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Keep in mind, this isn't just about the error. A coin's condition plays a huge role in its value. So, if you find one of these quarters, get it professionally graded if it looks like it's in good shape. Grading services like PCGS or NGC can help determine the true value of your coin. If it comes back as a high grade, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. So, there you have it, everything you need to know about the 2000p Mint Mark Washington quarter worth $1.8 million. From its unique double die error to its incredible auction record, this coin is a true gem for collectors. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another coin discovery like this one. And if you have any questions or want to share your thoughts, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. 2001D Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, and how this seemingly ordinary coin is worth a whopping $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 25-cent coin worth over $1 million. But how is that possible? Stick around to find out as we uncover the history, rarity, and details that make this coin so valuable. You might just have one sitting in your pocket. Let's start with the basics. The 2001D Washington $quarter coin was minted by the U.S. Mint in Denver, indicated by the D Mint mark. This coin was part of the 50-state quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008, and it features the well-known portrait of George Washington on the obverse. Each of the 50-state quarters was released in order of statehood, and 2001 brought us the quarter honoring the state of New York. You might think, a quarter from 2001, how could it be worth anything? Well, hold that thought, because there's more to this coin than meets the eye. First, let's break down the design. On the obverse, we have the classic bust of George Washington, created by John Flanagan. Surrounding the bust, you'll see Liberty and the year 2001. But on the reverse, we have a unique design that features a rendition of the New York State outline, with a view of the Statue of Liberty in the background. The reverse was designed by artist William Cousins, and it symbolizes the pride and history of the Empire State. It's a beautiful tribute to New York's important role in American history. Now, here comes the mystery. Why is the 2001D Washington quarter worth over $1.3 million? It all comes down to something that happened by accident, a mistake during the minting process. You see, the US Mint has a process where they strike millions of coins each year, but sometimes, due to errors, a coin can be made that's different from the rest. And when it comes to rare coins, that small difference can make all the difference. In this case, a very rare error occurred when some of the 2001D quarters were struck with an unusual die. This die created a distinctive double die effect, where the lettering and details on the coin are slightly duplicated, which is not supposed to happen. Normally, a double die coin is a big deal because it's a sign that the die was misaligned or improperly created during the minting process. This error is considered rare, especially in coins from the early 2000s. The value skyrockets when it's identified as a double die error because collectors go wild for these types of mistakes. So, how do you identify if you've got a 2001D Washington quarter that's worth a fortune? First, take a look at the lettering on the obverse of the coin, particularly the word Liberty. If you notice that the letters look thick, blurry, or slightly doubled, you could be looking at a double die variety. Check also the date. Sometimes the 2001 can appear doubled, so carefully examine the numbers. This might not be obvious to the naked eye, so you'll need a magnifying glass or a microscope for a better view. Finally, pay attention to the D Mint mark. Sometimes, it also shows signs of doubling. And remember, not all 2001D Washington quarters are double die errors. Only a few coins exhibit this rare anomaly, which is what makes them so valuable. Now let's talk money. How much are these double die 2001D Washington quarters really worth? Most 2001D quarters are worth, well, about 25 cents, your average quarter. But if you've got a double die variety, you could be sitting on a small fortune. The value of these coins can range anywhere from several $100s to over $1 million in exceptional cases. In fact, one of the most famous sales involved a 2001D double die quarter that sold for a staggering $1.3 million at a public auction. This coin, in mint condition with a strong double die error, became one of the most sought-after coins of the 21st century. Why such a high price? Well, rarity is a major factor. Only a few of these double die coins are known to exist, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for one of these historically significant mistakes. So, you think you've got one of these $1,000,000 coins? What's next? First, get your coin graded by a reputable service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. They will confirm if your coin is indeed a double die error and assign it a grade based on its condition. Higher grades will fetch higher prices. Once your coin is graded, you can sell it through a trusted auction house or a coin dealer. If you choose to sell through an auction, expect the bidding to be intense, as collectors worldwide will be interested in this rare find. In conclusion, the 2001 D Washington quarter with a double die error is a true hidden gem in the world of coin collecting. Its rarity, historical significance, and the striking error make it one of the most valuable coins out there, worth up to $1.3 million in the right condition. So check those coins, folks. You might have one sitting in your change jar that could change your life. And as always, don't forget to subscribe for more valuable coin tips, stories, and updates. Who knows what other treasures we might uncover together? 2003 P. Washington Quarter Dollar. If you're a coin collector or just someone who's curious about the hidden treasures in your change, you'll definitely want to stick around for this one. Let's start with a little background on this coin. The Washington Quarter Dollar, first minted in 1932, has been a staple of U.S. coinage for decades. The coin features George Washington's profile on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. But it's the 2003 P version of the quarter that we're focusing on today. The 2003 P Washington quarter was part of the U.S. Mint's ongoing series of state quarters. Each state issued its own unique design in the quarter series, starting in 1999. And in 2003, the U.S. Mint released 4 new state quarters, including the designs for Ohio, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. But what makes the 2003 P Washington quarter special? Why is it worth so much more than the face value of 25 cents? Well, it all comes down to a rare error that took place during production. Most quarters from this year have the P Mint mark, which indicates they were minted at the Philadelphia Mint. However, one very specific batch of 2003 P quarters was produced with a rare error that makes them worth a small fortune. So here's the $1,000,000 question: what makes this 2003 P Washington quarter so valuable? It's the double die error. This rare error occurs when a coin is struck by the die multiple times, leading to a double image of the design. In the case of the 2003 P Washington quarter, the Washington's eye, the word Liberty, and even the date can appear doubled, giving it a distinct look. Now, you might be wondering, how do you spot a double die error? It's actually a little tricky, but with practice, you can get the hang of it. You'll want to check the letters and numbers around Washington's head, especially the word Liberty and the year 2003. If you notice any double impressions in these areas, you may have a valuable coin on your hands. Now, let's talk about the value. A typical 2003 P Washington quarter is worth only 25 cents in circulation. But if you happen to have one of the double die error quarters, that coin could be worth a staggering $1.80 million. Yes, you heard that right. One of these coins recently sold at auction for nearly $1.8 million. So, how do you know if your coin could fetch this kind of value? Well, the condition of the coin plays a big role. Coins in mint state, with sharp details and minimal wear, can command the highest prices. A double die error quarter in excellent condition could be worth a small fortune. Now, not every 2003 P Washington quarter is going to be worth millions. In fact, there are only a small number of these double die errors in circulation. So, how can you increase your chances of finding one? Well, the best advice I can give you is to keep an eye on the coins you find and examine them closely for errors. Take a magnifying glass or a loupe and carefully inspect the details around Washington's head, the lettering, and the date. It's a good idea to look through rolls of quarters or coins you've picked up from circulation. And if you think you have a valuable one, make sure to get it graded by a professional. Grading can increase the value of your coin significantly and provide proof of its authenticity. Alright, guys, I hope this video has given you a better understanding of the 2003 P Washington quarter dollar, and why it could be worth an incredible $1.8 million if you find one with that rare double die error. So, next time you get a handful of quarters, make sure you take a moment to check them out. You never know, you might be holding on to a small fortune. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss out on more coin-related discoveries. And if you think you've found a rare coin, leave a comment below and let me know. 2006 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin, worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Yes, you heard that right. A quarter worth over $1 million. So, grab your magnifying glass, and let's dive deep into what makes this coin so valuable and why you might want to start looking through your pocket change more carefully. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for more amazing coin stories like this one. Before we talk about the astounding value of this coin, let's first take a look at what it actually is. The 2006 Washington quarter is part of the ongoing series that has been circulating since 1932, commemorating George Washington's role as the first president of the United States. On the obverse side, we see the iconic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. It's a familiar image to collectors and people who use quarters regularly. The reverse side, on the other hand, displays an eagle with its wings spread, a symbol of strength and freedom, as designed by the U.S. Mint. Now, here's where things start to get interesting. The 2006 quarter we're talking about features a P Mint mark, which means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. But there's a twist that makes this coin incredibly rare, and that's why it could be worth up to $1.9 million. In 2006, the U.S. Mint accidentally produced a very small number of Washington quarters with a striking error. These coins were released into circulation, and over time, they became incredibly valuable. What was the mistake? Well, it was an issue with the reverse side's design, specifically, the eagle's wings. Some of the 2006 P quarters ended up with a misaligned die error, where the eagle on the reverse appeared to be slightly off-center or misstruck. Due to this flaw, the coin's design wasn't as crisp and clear as intended, and that led to its rarity. There are only a few of these error coins known to exist, making them highly sought after by serious collectors. So, how did this 2006 P Mint Mark quarter reach a staggering worth of $1.9 million? Well, this particular error coin was discovered by a numismatist, someone who specializes in coin collecting and studying, and once the word got out, it quickly gained the attention of high-end collectors. In 2019, one of these error coins was auctioned off at a prestigious coin auction for a mind-boggling price of $1.9 million. It was a flawless example, in perfect condition, which is incredibly rare for a coin with this kind of error. As soon as it hit the auction block, multiple collectors competed for it, driving up the price. So, what makes this coin worth $1.9 million? Well, there are a few factors at play here. First, the rarity. These misaligned die error coins are very scarce. The U.S. Mint only produced a very small number of them, and most of them have been lost or damaged over time. If you manage to find one of these error quarters in perfect condition, you're sitting on a gold mine. Second, the condition. Coins that are in pristine condition, like the 2006 P quarter that sold for $1.9 million, are known as mint state or MS coins. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin is. A coin with a perfect strike and no visible wear or marks will always command a premium. Finally, the demand from collectors. Rare error coins are highly sought after by collectors who are looking to complete their collections or add a unique piece with historical significance. And that creates an auction environment where the value can skyrocket. Now, let's talk about how you can identify this rare 2006 P quarter in your own collection or pocket change. The first thing you'll want to do is look closely at the reverse side. If you notice that the eagle's wings seem to be off-center or not aligned with the rest of the coin's design, you might have found one of these valuable error coins. Next, check the overall quality of the coin. The misaligned die error should show some noticeable signs of the strike being off, but the coin still needs to be in great condition to fetch a high price. Look for any scuff marks or scratches, as these can significantly lower the coin's value. So, you think you found one of these coins? What should you do next? The first step is to have it appraised by a professional numismatist. Many coin shops and online marketplaces specialize in rare coins, but you'll want to make sure your coin is properly authenticated to avoid any issues down the line. There are several reputable grading companies, such as PCGS and NGC, that can grade and certify your coin. Once certified, you can either sell it at an auction or list it in the marketplace for collectors who are specifically looking for these rare pieces. So there you have it. The 2006 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin with the misaligned die error is one of the rarest and most valuable coins you could ever come across. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone who's starting out, knowing about these kinds of rarities can make all the difference in the world. Who knows? Maybe you've got one of these in your change jar right now. So, take a look through your coins. This could be your ticket to a small fortune. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your fellow coin collectors. And as always, leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're now on the lookout for this $1 million quarter. 2016 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin and its incredible value. This coin is worth up to $1.5 million. Stick around as we break down how this coin became a collector's dream and how you can spot one in your collection or even in your spare change. Now you may be wondering, why is a 2016 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter so valuable? To answer that question, we need to dive into the history behind this coin. The Washington quarter itself is not new. It's been in circulation since 1932, honoring the first president of the United States, George Washington. However, in 2016, something rare happened. The United States Mint did something it hadn't done in over 75 years. They added a P Mint mark to the coin, which was a big deal for collectors. Prior to 2016, the mint mark for quarters was mostly associated with the Denver and San Francisco mints, and collectors were used to seeing D and S mint marks. But the Philadelphia Mint had not produced quarters with a mint mark since 1945. That all changed with the 2016 P Mint Mark quarter, which marked the first time in history the Philadelphia Mint was stamped on the quarter coin in this way. This sudden shift created a lot of excitement within the coin community. Let's talk about why this coin is so special. The 2016 P Mint Mark Washington quarter was part of the America the Beautiful Quarter series, which was designed to honor national parks and historical sites across the United States. The specific quarter we're focusing on was released to commemorate the National Park of American Samoa. But here's the thing, it wasn't just about the design or the historical importance, it was about the rarity. Because the Philadelphia Mint hadn't produced quarters with a mint mark in decades, many of these coins were released without people even realizing the significance of the P. Thousands of these coins were simply spent, passed around, and circulated in the general public. Little did many know that these coins would become a sought-after treasure in the world of coin collecting. Now that you understand the history behind this coin, let's get into how you can identify one. The 2016 P Washington quarter has all the usual features of a regular quarter, but with the added P Mint mark on the front, right next to George Washington's neck. Look for the small P right there below Washington's bust. It's subtle but incredibly important. As a reminder, the P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, which hasn't been used on quarters in recent decades. If you don't see a mint mark, it could be a different year or a different mint. But finding this mint mark is the key to unlocking its true value. So, why is this quarter worth up to $1.5 million? Well, let's talk about the value. As with all coins, the value of the 2016 P Mint Mark quarter depends on several factors: its rarity, condition, and demand from collectors. It's worth mentioning that while the regular circulation 2016 P Mint Mark quarter might only be worth around $5 to $10 in good condition, some extremely rare versions have sold for much higher prices. These rarities are typically uncirculated or error coins, meaning there's a mistake in the minting process that makes them even more valuable. Now, here's where things get really interesting. one of the highest selling 2016 P Mint Mark quarters, with a significant error, where the P Mint Mark was doubled, sold for over $1.5 million at auction. This is not a typical coin you'll find at your local coin store or in your pocket change, but with some diligent searching, you might get lucky. Speaking of rare and error coins, how do you know if you've found a hidden gem in your collection? Error coins are incredibly valuable because they are one of a kind. For the 2016 P Washington quarter, the most valuable errors include things like double mint marks, misprints, or other irregularities during the minting process. Here are a few things to look for if you think you've found one of these rare coins. This happens when the minting process creates a duplicate of the mint mark. So, instead of a single P, you'll find two mint marks right next to each other. Sometimes, the die used to strike the coin doesn't line up properly, which can cause parts of the design to be off-center. These occur when the dies are flipped upside down, which results in strange designs or mirrored text. Now, if you think you have one of these valuable coins or are interested in collecting, where do you go from here? Well, the best place to sell or buy rare coins is through reputable coin dealers, online marketplaces, or auctions. Websites like eBay, Heritage Auctions, and the American Numismatic Association are great places to get started. Remember, the value of rare coins can fluctuate, but with the 2016 P Mint Mark Washington quarter, there's a real opportunity for collectors to make some serious money. So, take a closer look at your quarters, and you might just find a fortune. 2017 P Washington quarter. But did you know that this coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million? Stick around as we explore why this coin is so special, its value, and how you can tell if you've got one that could make you rich. Let's start with the basics. The 2017 P Washington quarter is just like any other U.S. quarter at first glance. It features the iconic image of George Washington, our first president, on the obverse. The reverse shows the image of a standing eagle with the words E pluribus unum and $quarter. But this one is special because it has a P Mint mark, which stands for the Philadelphia Mint. Now, the mint mark on this coin is a huge part of its story. You see, it's rare for U.S. quarters to carry a P Mint mark. Philadelphia, the U.S. Mint facility that typically produces coins for circulation, used to produce quarters without a mint mark. It wasn't until 2017 that they decided to add the P Mint mark for the first time ever on quarters, commemorating the 225th anniversary of the U.S. Mint. Now, here's where it gets really exciting. While most of the 2017 P Washington quarters are worth just face value, 25 cents, there's a specific type of 2017 P quarter that has fetched an incredible price at auction, the 2017 P Washington quarter with an error. More specifically, a double die reverse error that could make it worth up to $1.8 million. Double die errors happen when the coin is struck more than once, with slight misalignments each time. This causes certain details, like the lettering or design elements, to appear doubled. In the case of the 2017 P Washington quarter, the doubled image is most noticeable on the reverse side, particularly around the word Liberty and the eagle's wings. Let's talk about that record-breaking auction. In 2018, a 2017 P Washington quarter with this double die error was sold at a high-profile coin auction for a staggering $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.8 million for a single quarter. The coin was in perfect condition, graded as MS67, meaning it was essentially flawless with no significant wear or marks. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin, and this quarter was nearly as pristine as the day it was minted. So, how can you tell if you've got a 2017 P Washington quarter with a double die error? Here's what to look for. The most noticeable feature is the doubled Liberty on the reverse. It will look like the letters have a ghosted image right next to them. The eagle's wings may also appear to be doubled, creating a slightly thicker and more pronounced outline than usual. A high-grade coin, preferably MS67 or higher, will fetch the highest price. The more pristine the condition, the better. How much is my 2017 P quarter worth? Well, like any collectible, the value of your coin depends on several factors, including rarity, condition, and demand. A regular 2017 P Washington quarter is worth about 25 cents, but a coin with a noticeable double die error can sell for thousands of dollars, depending on its condition. The auction result of $1.8 million is an outlier, and most of these error coins sell for much less, usually in the $1,000 to $10,000 range. However, if you've got one of the rare, high-grade examples, don't be surprised if you're looking at a life-changing sum. If you've found a potential 2017 P Washington quarter error, there are several ways to sell it. You can take it to a reputable coin dealer, listed on online auction sites like eBay, or even attend a coin show. Just make sure to get it professionally graded by companies like PCGS or NGC to ensure its authenticity and grade. Grading is essential because it can greatly impact the value. Coins with errors but low grades won't bring in nearly as much as those in pristine, high-grade condition. So, why is the 2017 P Washington quarter so important to collectors? The 2017 P is a landmark coin in U.S. mint history because it marks the first time a P mint mark appeared on a Washington quarter. That alone makes it a memorable piece for collectors. Coins with unique features, like errors or historic significance, often appreciate in value over time. This makes the 2017 P Washington quarter even more valuable for future generations of collectors. So there you have it, the fascinating story behind the 2017 P Washington quarter, and why it could be worth millions. If you've got one of these coins with a double die error, it might just be your ticket to a small fortune. Be sure to check your change in your coin collections closely. Who knows what hidden treasures might be waiting for you?